It's already saying going live. Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. Running the chat is our producer, Jessica Lee. We've got a little feedback here. We got that taken care of now. And we are going to have a really fun talk tonight, even though the title can be just a little bit scary, how to calm the down. But before we do that, just a brief bit of housekeeping. First off, coaching is still just about full for the summer. So if you're interested in finding out about coaching with me, then you need to sign up for a free one-on-one coaching strategy session today. They're 15-minute sessions. It's free. If you're interested in coaching, simply come on over to InspireNationShow.com/coaching. And I think our earliest openings at this point are mid-June. So you'll need to sign up very, very shortly. Secondly, speaking about shortly, we've got my meditations coming out soon. Woohoo! And this week we will have free meditations up on our website for you to be able to download. So you can come on over to InspireNationShow.com. And when you sign up for our newsletter, you'll be getting free downloads of our meditations coming up later this week. Most importantly, we are 100% supported by you, our listeners. So if you love the show, first off, share with everyone you know. It's the best way that we can change this planet and help change lives. You literally can change lives by putting them onto the Inspire Nation show. And come on over to patreon.com, patreon.com/Inspire Nation. In fact, we're going to be working to get a simpler URL coming up shortly. But this is a way that you can become a Backstage Pass member. You can support the show. I put out, I think, new content 5, 6, 7 times in the last 10 days. So you're going to get behind the scenes content. You're going to get some daily inspiration. You're going to get more tools, more videos, lots more of everything for you, all for supporting the show. So come on over to patreon.com/Inspire Nation. All right, with that said, going to pull up my notes here, and we are going to have a very fun talk. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Some days, and this is in a sense, a double interview day. I had an amazing interview with Tosha Silver earlier today, talking about how we can release our fear and stress and anxiety by giving it over to the divine. Beautiful interview. Had to do a lot of setup for what's the equivalent. This show with you tonight is like a second interview. So Tuesdays tend to be a full-on day. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about specifically, this is something we have all experienced, the challenge with self-help. What's wrong with self-help? Self-help is doing great. In fact, we're doing great, which means we're a part of self-help. The challenge is this. The challenge with self-help today is that we believe that we are broken and that we need to be fixed. Again, the challenge is we believe we're broken and we need to be fixed. Nothing could be further from the truth. Yes, if you're watching our show, then you're probably buying books, going to seminars, watching more shows, buying more books, and feeling less than through the process. It's crazy. The more we go down the self-help rabbit hole, unless we listen to a show like tonight and we step back and we go, stop, the lousier we often feel. The ego kicks up. It's called backdoor spirituality, and it says, what have you done for me today, sucker? In essence, the ego will judge you against what you're reading and seeing. So the more good stuff you imbibe, the more good stuff you ingest, the worse we feel about ourselves. I'm guessing you've experienced this. I know I've experienced this. In my early days, reading all the Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Napoleon Hill that I could, and feeling less than or feeling stuck. I want you to pause, take a breath for a minute. Repeat after me. Being stuck is an illusion. Being stuck is an illusion. We couldn't be stuck even if we tried, because our awareness is always growing. I call it spiraling upwards. What do you mean by spiraling upwards? Well, whether you're 18 or 80, you have double the awareness, if not 10 times, 100 times the awareness that you did half a years ago. Awareness is always spiraling upwards. So while the ego may feel that we're stuck, it's not possible because we're learning, we're growing. It's when we judge ourselves based on where we feel we're supposed to be or how others are doing, something that I call death by comparison. It is only then that we really feel stuck. So I'm here to tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. There is truly nothing wrong with you. You are perfect just as you are. The self-help industry, in essence, works by telling you you're less than. Our ego works by telling us we're less than. But if you did nothing else, you are a divine being, divine. You are part of God. You have the God within you. Here having a human existence. And it's temporary. It's so temporary in the infinite span of existence. So even if you kicked back on your Tommy Bahama lounge chair and did nothing, you're still having the experience you're meant to be. We're going to talk more about that in a few minutes. So I had a beautiful, beautiful interview with Tosha Silva earlier today talking about her book, It's Not Your Money. One of my favorite concepts that we talked about, and I want to blow this out. I'm going to blow this out a little bit tonight, but I want to blow this out in a whole interview, is called, and forgive my Sanskrit pronunciations, Prarabdha karma. In essence, Prarabdha karma means that we came here with our each unique soul contract and soul path. This is why if Jessica and I didn't know each other and we both did the same law of attraction, The Secret, manifestation, abundance, if we took the same courses, read the same books, did the same mantras, one of us might become a millionaire gazillionaire. The other one might have all sorts of health challenges, be down on his or her luck, maybe even out on the streets. It doesn't mean that one of us did something right, one of us did something wrong, or my big beef with law of attraction is, and thinking that thoughts are causative, which they are, but my big beef with it is thinking, therefore, if I don't have perfect thoughts, that I'm creating problems in my life. It's just not true. Now, certainly, the higher vibration thoughts you have, the better you're going to feel, the more goodness you're going to attract into your life. But if you go, why isn't it working out? Why do I feel, quote, stuck? And you go, I must have bad thoughts. That's like saying I must be a bad person. It's not. It's about your Prarabdha karma. What do I mean by that? It means we each came in here with our own soul contract. I'll get to that more in a second. First, I want to share kind of a funny story. There was a time where I had gone through the Native American church. I was experiencing God or spirituality on a whole new level, and I just wanted to take it all in. And so I remember I was going to a very evangelical Christian church on Saturday nights, or I was going to temple on Friday nights and church on Saturday nights. I considered it all the Sabbath, and I just wanted to learn all that I could. And I even became a member of the choir. I loved to sing. I want to sing again. I will sing again. I became a member of a choir at this evangelical Christian church. And I remember discussing with a pastor at the church who was the director of the choir. And I asked him a question that we're all kind of contemplating or asking ourselves. If God has a plan and I do something wrong, can I ruin God's plan? Like if God has the right person picked out for me and I do or don't speak with them, could I end up blowing it? If I'm supposed to take this job, but I don't, could I ruin my whole life? And so I seriously asked him this question. I was promptly kicked out of the choir. The point is, I was worried that if I did or did not do something, I could mess up God's plan or find myself off track or miserable. But the truth is, and I want you to repeat this, there is no off path. There is no off track. Every experience, I want you to get this, every experience you have is perfect for your soul's development and growth. It is all part of the plan. I like to think of our lives. I had the most amazing service dog, Sawa. I had her for over 16 years. I love you, Sawa. Oh my God, the most incredible little Brittany Spaniel who would start stomping her paws if my blood sugar would go low, would drag her heels, Jessica pointed out, her ears would go up and her hairs would stick up on her ear. She would say, crazy ears. Michael, you need to eat something. She's got crazy ears. And she was so attuned to me, poor Sawa, which meant that she was nervous a lot of the time because she was worried about my blood sugar levels. And we'd have a feedback loop around that. But the point isn't that. The point is when I first met Sawa, I was boarding some horses in Fort Collins, Colorado. I had 3 horses for a while. And where I was boarding some horses, she was a less than year-old hunting dog or was trying to be sold to a hunting family. And she was on like a 50-foot long steel cable, a lead. And she had a chain attached to her neck. Oh, poor thing. And that chain was attached to this cable. And she could run up and down 50 feet back and forwards. But that's all she had. And it really, thunderstorms freaked her out because she was stuck outside. There's no place for her to go and hide. Hailstorms, which they got in Fort Collins. There was no place for her to go and hide. It's another story, a story for another day, but it's an absolute miracle that I was able to rescue her because she wasn't mine. And they didn't want her to go to me because I was a self-declared not hunting person and I wasn't going to take her out to go kill birds or grab the birds after they've been shot. Sawa could only run up and down this line and a little bit to each side. If she went too much to the side, it would get her by the neck, pull her off of her feet, and she'd be yanked back towards center. That, in essence, is our line as well, is our life as well. We have one line that we're taking. We can go to the sides as much as we want within a narrow bandwidth, because we're always going to come back to that cable to get the lessons that we subscribe to. So does it mean we have free will? We absolutely have free will. But the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, is going to keep us on that path to get the experiences that you sign up with. That word experience is so key. You may have heard the expression, we are all divine spiritual beings having a human experience. It's not that we're divine spiritual beings who need to attract money, attract a car, new partner, better love, or anything into our lives, though there's nothing wrong with any or all of that. We are simply having a human experience. It's not a human doing, it's not a human gathering, it's not a human getting. It's an experience. And there is literally nothing that is not that experience. Everything you do, positive, I'll put that in quotes, negative, I'll put that in quotes, is all putting money in the experience back. It's all learning. It's all growth. It is all part of what we came here to do. When we realize we are divine beings, infinite beings, having an infinitesimally small human existence or experience. We both realize how precious this is, and we realize the game is rigged. It's rigged in our favor for us to get the learnings that we need to, but we don't have to worry if we don't achieve X, Y, or Z, if we don't make it to X, Y, or Z, if we didn't attract X, Y, or Z. It's all the experience. If we can understand this, then we can let go. We can let go of the need for perfection. And that's a disease gone rampant in our society that says if you do not achieve a certain level, I call it disease or death by comparison. I'm doing great. I'm here in my town. I got my car. I got my house. I got my this. I got my that. You go out with people. They got 10 times what you have. They're doing 10 times more. They're reaching 10 times more people, whatever. And all of a sudden you feel about this big. Death by comparison. And what we say is, I've got to do more. I've got to try more. Why can't I be more perfect? I'm so stuck. We're not stuck at all. If we can let go of the need to achieve a certain level or to buy a certain thing, instead we can transform and fold that energy back inwards into ourselves rather than saying, I gotta. If instead you bring it into the breath, you bring it into the beingness, you let go of all that gotta, you will find there is pure joy in that moment. Almost no matter the moment. I remember literally laying on the rocks, close. I don't know how close I was to death. There's no blood pressure. They were struggling to find a blood pressure on me. When the EMTs got there, I was broken on the rocks outside of Lake Tahoe, shattered, understatement. And in between trying to manually get myself to breathe, I sang a chorus or two of, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I was in the most incredible pain I have ever been in before or since in my life. Every few moments, it would be like an electric shock would go off through my body and the whole body would tighten up, which would shards of bone sticking into the skin from underneath. Felt like hell. But in that moment, if I let go of everything, I burst out in song. That's our divine nature. That is our true nature. Our true nature, yes, we're builders, we're manifestors. We can create such beauty. And we're probably going to do a short guided meditation together tonight to help heal the planet or help make the planet stay hospitable for us, because we are creators and we can create such beauty. But when you let go of the need to be more or do more or achieve more, or what I call the disease of the more, the funny thing is you're actually free to do just that. It's exhausting trying to be perfect. It's exhausting trying to do more. It's exhausting trying to keep up with the Joneses or keep up with the inner Joneses, really the Joneses of our ego that say how much we need to do. It is exhausting. But when you let go of that, when you release the 1,000-pound gorilla that's stuck on your back, you feel lighter, you feel more energized, and without the fear and anxiety that was holding you down. In essence, when you let go of the need to be fixed or changed or to be different or to be better, the crazy thing is, beautiful thing, is you suddenly become many, if not all of those things without even trying. Let me repeat that. When you let go of the need to be fixed or changed or be different or be better, you suddenly become many, if not all of these things without even trying. Why? Because you're not exhausted. That's the only stuckedness. We've worn ourselves out on the self-help treadmill that says, I need to do more. When we stop that, we are the moreness that we're trying to become, and we have the energy to do whatever we would like, relatively speaking. And that brings us back to Prarabdha Karma. What this means in essence is that we all have our own unique path. So if we're trying, striving, and driving to get somewhere, and we're not getting where we want to go, it may simply be that that's not our path. That's okay. I didn't meet Jessica for the first more than 3.5 decades of my life. I wanted somebody so badly. We've all heard this story. It wasn't until I let go and I said, you drive God, you drive source, you drive universe, that a few years later, she appeared in my life. None of the forcing, striving, and driving could have brought her about. I needed, we've discussed this many times. The fact is, if I had met Jessica earlier in my life, there is a 0.0% chance that we would be together. As it was, a miracle took place, and it was like a 0.1% chance, and we're actually together. Woohoo! I had just done enough of the inner work on myself that we were able to connect. Had I not taken years of my life and said, I give up, I surrender, whatever my path is, I will entertain that rather than striving and fighting, and instead worked on my inner work, she wouldn't be here with me today. So it doesn't mean if you're knocking on doors, if you're banging on doors, if you're banging your head against the wall or against doors, it doesn't mean that anything that you've done or is doing is futile or wrong, or there's something wrong with it, or there's something wrong with you. It means that there are learnings that are coming to you, that you are getting, that you are receiving. That may not necessarily mean that you get that particular thing that you want now. Matt Kahn calls it upgrades. I was talking at a beautiful interview with Matt Kahn. Everything is here to serve you. And he has one book, Everything is Here to Serve You. Another book, Whatever Arises, love that. And we're talking about when we're sick, when we're not getting what we wanted, when we're brought down, metaphorically or quite literally. It's when we're getting upgrades. We're getting downloads for the universe. We're learning more than we ever learn when we're sitting on the couch or life is all groovy. And so we don't have to necessarily welcome in these time periods. You could, though. You could say, like a roller coaster, I'm going up, wait, yeah, whoa, I'm going down, knowing the roller coaster is going to come right back up. You save yourself a lot of energy for doing this, or by doing this. So I want to repeat one more time. Nothing that you've done in the past is wasted. Nothing you've done is futile. I mentioned last week, I'll mention it just real briefly. Rich Karlgaard, publisher of Forbes, he says he wasted, or at the time he would have said he wasted his college career by reading Sports Illustrated instead of studying for tests, instead of being able to focus. And he ended up becoming a security guard after getting a degree from Stanford, after which he claims it was, not claims, he actually explained how it was literally a fluke. A coach read his times wrong for running and got him into the school based on his running times, which were the wrong running times. He said he had wasted his Stanford career by focusing on reading Sports Illustrated. Well, guess what? He became a security guard afterwards, continued reading Sports Illustrated, and after floundering for a bunch of years, which is why he's talking about late bloomers, about us all getting a second chance, his brain lit up. He ended up getting with a publishing company. I'm kind of butchering the story, but the long and short of it is, because he was reading Sports Illustrated, because he was reading these magazines, he ended up becoming the publisher of Forbes. When we look backwards at our lives, when we look backwards, what we see in that mirror of time is a thread that has connected everything. For Jessica and myself, this show has come out of that thread. The creativity that we have, the talks that we give, the books that I read. Each piece has something to do with experiences that came from our past, which means everything that you've done matters, and nothing that you've done and nothing that you're doing is a waste. In essence, what it means is that it's the journey that you're learning from. There is no destination. What? You get a car, it lasts 5, 6, 7, maybe 20 or 30 years. It's gone. You get a job. Well, in today's world, you're certainly not guaranteed you're going to have that for life. Nothing is guaranteed for life except the experiences that you gain on the journey. it is all about the journey. That's the case for all of us. That perfect person that you think has it all together, well, they may have been gifted with millions. They may have worked their tails off for millions or whatever it may be, but they're on their unique prabdha karma as well. Their own unique learning journey. Now, Tosha would say that if you're struggling in the financial department, it may be that you've already dealt with that many, many times over, and that you're an old soul. You've been on earth, you're reincarnated many times, and you're here to learn some of the more difficult lessons. That's okay too. One person takes economics 101, another person takes marketing 101, another person takes millionaire 101, another person takes struggling 101. All to bring us back to God, all to bring us back to source, to divine, to the love within, and all to remind us that we are each and every one of us perfect, just as we are. There's no place to strive and get to. We are each divine beings. If you're divine, how could you be anything less than divine? We're all divine beings having a human experience. For myself, I've been trying hard to get into shape this spring, and I've kind of gotten mini 2x4 after 2x4. Sick, tick fever, minor tendinitis, list goes on and on. You don't need to hear about it. And we're trying to build something special at this time with eye meditations, which we've both been exhausted, and it's coming along great, but at half the speed we expected. So does that mean because I'm not running as I'd like to right now, because our eye meditations isn't already out, that we're off path, that we're wasting time, that something is, quote, wrong with either endeavor? Not at all. I don't feel that's the case one little bit. It means we've got our prabdha karma. We're going to come along at the pace we were meant to. Now, we can fight it, and what you resist persists. You're going to get blowback. You're going to get exhausted by fighting what is. Or we could allow into it, allow into the flow. And if we pause long enough, we're probably going to get some amazing positive lessons on the journey. So what I'm saying is relax, relax, relax into everything. Forget about about that need that you must do this, you must achieve that, or in essence, fix who you are or fix what your life's like. There is nothing to be fixed. You are perfect. Perfect. You are love. You are the divine, just as you are. Remember, life is life. It's all journey. It's all path. It is all, no matter the muck and the mire. And I'm sure you've heard the expression, no mud, no lotus. No matter where you are, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Yes, if you're in the mud, you can work to get out of the mud and dry yourself off. But right now, in the moment, you could even play in the mud. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing to fix. Even though even though the ego may completely disregard what I'll say next, you are perfect just as you are. I can hear the egos going, no, that's for Michael, that's for Jessica, that's for this person, that's for that person. No, I'm speaking to you. You are perfect just as you are. Yeah, but I got the bills, I've got the this, I've got the this. I may have just gotten out of jail. I may be nearly homeless and they're banging on the doors to evict me. You're still perfect just as you are. That's just part of the story of your human experience. But you're much greater than a story. You are a divine being having a human experience. Now, we live in a world of paradoxes. And it's a brilliant statement that Tosha Silla has shared with me earlier today, and I couldn't agree with more. In the West, we want everything black and white. In the East, it doesn't have to be that way. If you go to a school of Zen, you get all these koans, these statements that are paradoxes wrapped within themselves. They're contradictions wrapped within an enigma. When we understand that things are not black and white, but can coexist together, then we can understand this better. You are both perfect just as you are, and if you want to upgrade or change any element of your life, you can do that too. Again, you're perfect just as you are, and you can choose to change things, but not to change things because there's something wrong with you or something that needs to be fixed, but because you want to see what you can do. Sort of like you want to see, can I put in a new carburetor? Old school. Make a car faster. Can I train on the bicycle or running? Make myself faster. Can I meditate more? And help myself discover my true essence even more. Sure, you can do all of this. But remember, you're perfect just as you are. But you can do all of these things. For myself, I have a fire in my belly to help change the world. But I won't say I'm less than for just being in the moment. You are perfect just as you are. You do not need to change a thing. And you can. Tony Robbins, I heard him a long time ago. I think he was talking about maybe 1%. What would your life like be if you were 1% better a week? And I think, well, if I had 1% improvement in an area once a month or once a week, or just the tiniest little bit better, there's that paradox, each and every day, whether that's cleaning the dishes more, taking better care of Jessica, sharing my love more, being more patient, where would I be? And at the same time, I am perfect just as I am. So yes, you can challenge yourself in the most kind, loving, and gentle manner to keep going down the self-help road, to keep reading the books, to keep stretching and challenging yourself. But do it from that place of love and kindness, knowing there is nothing to be fixed. There is nothing that needs to be changed. All you're doing is playing, fine-tuning the dial on the radio for this human experience that you, a divine spiritual being, are getting to experience, and probably will get to experience again and again. Soak it all in, enjoy it, and remember, life, precious, precious life, is the journey, is the experience, and each and every perfect, even in its imperfection, perfect present moment. So with that said, I'm going to open it up to questions. Just want to say real briefly, again, if you love the show, if you want to find out more, if you want more tips, more videos, more of the everything, come on over to patreon.com, patreon.com/Inspire Nation. Become a member of the Backstage Pass family and share this show with those you love and those you care about. And together we will help raise people's vibrations, elevate consciousness, and shift humanity to a new level. So thanks so much. I'm going to open it up to questions now and see what we have here. So I'm going to go over to Jessica, who's been taking inventory here.
Our first question is from Jan, who writes, what if you feel like you're missing something? I feel like I should have done more, and now that I'm 49, I can feel the clock ticking.
Hi, Jan. I am so happy you asked that question. And that is exactly what well, can we go back to that question, please? That is exactly what I'm talking about. That is ego sneaking in the back door, saying, I haven't done something that I was supposed to do. There is no something that you were supposed to do. Life is life, Jan. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Now, you can do other things now. I would encourage you, go into your automatic writing. We have automaticwriting.com. You can check out a program for diving in on the inside. Do a third-party journaling exercise on a daily basis. Ask, what else do I get to do? But it is the experiences that you've gained. And Jan, you could say, well, I haven't done that much. At 49, you have done millions, if not billions, of different experiences over your lifetime. They have all added up. It's a crime of our society that you could pull out a spreadsheet and put somebody on it, age 49, write out Jan on here and said, did that, didn't do that, didn't do that, didn't do that, and say on the balance sheet that Jan has not added up. Nothing could be further from the truth. Spiritual being having a human existence, human experience, and it all adds up. Now, Jan, you can use that fire in your belly that says clock is ticking. And from the most loving, kind, and gentle place you can say, what new story do I want to tell? What new thing do I want to try? What new experiences do I want to have? Or how can I deepen my spiritual practice? How can I deepen my relationships? How can I upgrade whatever it is that I'm doing? But I want to give you a big hug, Jan. I want you to know there has not been anything wasted. And if you can get this message, then if this was your last day on earth, you would know it is all okay just as it is. And if you get this message and it's not your last day on earth, and I pray for you it's not, then you get to go, wow, I'm not going to pick on myself for X, Y, or Z. That is all added up. What can I do from here? What would be fun? What would be playing with me in my life? What would be, and I always like to turn to helping others, the best way that I can crank up my inner flame and help share it with the world? You can do this, Jan. I support you. And let us know in the process how it goes. All right, let's see if we have another question here.
Ahmad writes, I have questions, but my foggy brain blocks me from asking it. Feel like a failure, always tired, and sometimes can't speak. But this video calmed me down. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Ahmad, for sharing. I would encourage you, and it may just be that on your other side of the world and you're exhausted for that reason, but if that's not the case, I would encourage you in your moments of clarity, of lucidity, to ask, where is this exhaustion coming from? And is there anything I can do to ever so gently, loving, kindly, and compassionately for myself find ways to get my energy back up? Because if that's the case, and now I'm speaking as somebody who, Jessica, was molded for several years and was completely exhausted, and we were able to bring her back out of that. And it's a lot of the work I do with coaching is people who are completely exhausted and being able to bring them back. If that's you, I'm so glad you're watching this evening. You are perfect just as you are. But in those moments that you have where the light is shining bright, I want you to start asking yourself, what one tiny little step can I take? What one tiny little thing can I do today or this week that may help my light grow even brighter? Doesn't mean that you're broken, doesn't mean that there's anything wrong or anything to be fixed, but let's make this an even more enjoyable and energized ride.
Our next question is from Jody, who writes, I know God has me where I am in my life as part of my purpose. I don't know how to find my purpose. Any thoughts? I know God gave me more gifts than a wife, aka now ex-wife, an amazing mommy.
So a brilliant question, Jody. First off, I check out last week's Ask Michael Anything. We addressed this very topic. Secondly, purpose is a funny thing. So part of purpose, I believe, is all to help in any way, large or small. And being a mommy is a massive way to help others, to help the planet, to help all of us. So I can't take that away from you, but I know where you're coming from here. And so the other thing about purpose is continuously changing. This is the Prarabdha karma. So our purpose and your purpose up through now was to be an amazing mommy, was to be an amazing wife, now ex-wife. That was your purpose. And each experience you gained was your purpose. And now we can ask, what's this next phase of my life? And I would dive into what makes my heart sing, what makes me glow, what makes me woohoo. that is going to help guide you. Again, coming back to kind of my beef with the West, of which I'm a Westerner myself, I grew up in this, is that there's supposed to be one perfect path, one perfect purpose. I'm going to find my purpose, and all of my questions or all of my struggles would be answered. As we just heard from that computer, there's a veto to that. It's not the case. Purpose is continuously changing, ebbing, evolving, and growing. We don't have just one purpose for a lifetime. We wear many, many different hats. And when we think, I need to find my purpose, put that in quotes, we often get stuck in a perfectionism loop where we go, oh, that's not quite it. It's got to be bigger than that. Oh, that's not quite it. And your ego tells you why that's not it. And that desire for finding the perfect purpose, I have my one purpose, stops us dead in our tracks. If instead you ask about it, you write about it, and you feel where you get greatest joy, then all you need to do is take one step forward. Take one step forward a day, take one step forward a week toward that joy. You will find that next purpose in your life. You will find that next thing that lights you up. All of our purpose, all of our passion is really gifts that came wrapped around our heart from before we existed on this planetary realm. What do I mean about that? Well, very little things are an acquired taste. You came in here knowing whether you liked chocolate or vanilla. You came in here knowing whether you liked running or whether you liked, I don't know, hang gliding. The point being, you came in here knowing whether you like to paint, whether you like to sculpt, or whether you like to play basketball. These are all gifts that are wrapped around our heart. Our job is to discover the gifts and then run with them. So brilliant, brilliant question. And just be extra loving, kind, and gentle on yourself as you discover the new you, the version 2.0, the version 3.0. Love yourself up like there's no tomorrow. Get yourself out with others and write and ask yourself, where am I meant to go? What feels right to me? Brilliant, brilliant question. Thank you for asking. Time for a couple more questions, and we'll dive into a brief meditation.
Okay, we've got 3. The first one is from Latinas Venus Productions.
Yes.
Do we sit and watch? What's one thing we can reset to find the answers?
Latinas Venus. I love that name. I don't want to sound, hold that question for just 1 minute. I don't want to sound like a fortune cookie. This is going to be part of the paradox. A, there are no answers to find. And B, there are things that we can do. So I'm not a big fan of the just sit and watch. We had a time period in Maui where, we had a time period in Maui when we were, I think for several years, just sitting and watching. We're holding space at a meditation center many hours a day. And I think life imploded on us a little bit. We made things maybe harder, greater learnings than we needed because we were just sitting and watching. That's why I'm saying this world is a paradox. To me, it's a 2-step dance. We love ourselves up perfectly where we're at. I love myself. I love myself. Where I'm at is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And we step forward. What's that stepping forward? For ourselves, it literally was automatic writing, basically going into a meditative state, going into a place of prayer and writing and have the answers unfold before me or before us. It can be going out on a trail and asking for the answers, asking God, source, universe. It can be going into, just before you sleep at night, going into a hypnagogic state, half awake, half asleep state, and asking, where do I go from here? It can be literally dropping a coin into your mind's eye, a coin into your heart before you sleep at night, saying, please, God, source, universe, inner guide, inner wisdom, please help me to wake up and give me a sign, give me a symbol, give me direction. Look for those signs and symbols all around you, and then get the energy flowing. People who feel stuck and people who feel stuck financially are holding on tight to what they have. But when you hold on tight, the energy can't flow. It's why ideas come to you when you go for a walk. Ideas come for you when you go for a run. Ideas come to you when you step out on that ledge. Talking proverbially here. But take any step forward. It doesn't have to be a massive leap. That whole thing, Tony Robbins, massive action, I think it's a lot of micro steps that add up to massive action. But a micro step is good enough. Tiny little steps get you up Everest. Huge steps get you slipping, falling down into a crevasse. So take the tiny steps forward. Pause, sit back, go silent, see how it feels, step forward again, rinse and repeat. You can do this, but I want you to know you are on track and you can go incredible, crazy, beautiful places from here as well.
The questions aren't stopping.
Oh my gosh. Let's see what we can do. I coach at 6:30, so I will do my best. Okay, I'm always challenged with that, but we'll do what we can.
I know.
That too is a limiting belief. Okay, bring them on.
Okay, so Lucy asks, what about not being able to sleep due to anxiety? And the lack of sleep is keeping her from doing a lot of the healing work that she would normally do in the daytime.
So Lucy, that's perfect. Not perfect that you have a lack of sleep. And I have several clients recently I've been working with on this. That becomes your primary goal. Your dual primary goal, Lucy, is 1, find joy during the day. The more that we can get you into a place of joy, the better. 2, we get to figure out how to crack the nut of sleeping without trying to sleep. So Lucy, this is going to mean working on how do we dial back the meditation? How do we change some of the stress in your life? How do we help bring more joy back into your life so that we can find a bit more peace for you to sleep? And then what are the tools we can put into place? For instance, when I work with somebody on sleeping, and we built a whole program on sleep and nighttime routines. When I work with somebody on sleep, I want to work on their stimulation at the end of the day. What do you ingest? And by ingesting, I don't mean food. I mean, are you reading newspapers? Are you reflecting on the day? Are you having serious conversations? What can we do to dial down the stimulus later in the day and dial up the joy and peace? The anxiety is there to serve you. I repeat, the anxiety is there to serve you, to help you to find a different way of treating yourself, a different way of speaking to yourself, and a different way of really loving yourself up exactly where you at, like there's no tomorrow. That doesn't mean that we can't have tigers that are real, that we could face eviction, that we're not bringing in enough money, that the credit cards are all over us, credit card companies. But we can learn how to flip things around in our mind, which will actually give us the bandwidth to work on these things. But most importantly, will help give us the pause to sleep. If I was to start one place and one place only, I would be getting myself, this is going to sound sacrilege, I would be getting myself up earlier and earlier to meditate and work on finding a bit of a quiet mind. That meditation chopped off of sleep that is probably iffy at best will help detune the nervous system and give you a better ability to sleep. So I'm going to wish you sweet, sweet dreams. All right, next question.
Okay, next question. Next question is from Ashley, who writes, someone new to this, what is one of the small steps to starting a new you?
Ashley, you're perfect just as you are. I can't go back to this theme enough. We can be a new you and we can love ourselves up. So if we want a first step, I would say start to love yourself or like yourself like there's no tomorrow. The more that we can do that and tap into the love that is within us, the more energy and the more bandwidth we have for whatever is next. The next step on top of that, I would always go to a morning routine. Why a morning routine? If we can invest some time in ourselves to meditate, to journal, to do automatic writing, to get moving, to feed ourselves with the most amazing nutritional goodness, if we can build a structure first thing in the day that is for us and us alone. Even if you have kids, there is a way to build a little bit of time for yourself. I know it may sound crazy, but there is a way to do that. If you can invest in yourself a little time each day, first thing in the morning, you will find that new you, and you will, over time, be on fire to change the world. So let's start implementing a morning routine. Now, last thought on this, and even though I'm in speed round, which is whenever I work with a coaching client, we go to put in a morning routine. The first question that I get to ask is, what time do you get to bed at night? Because we may need to crank back the bedtime to get you up earlier. We're not talking sleep deprivation. Easiest way you can do this, and there are many ways. In fact, we have a whole program on an evening routine. But the easiest way that you can do this is set alarms, set 2 alarms, 45 minutes apart. One alarm saying, say at 9 o'clock says, I need to be asleep. I need to be getting ready for bed now. I need to shut off my electronics, all that good stuff, get the stimulation down. 9:45 saying time to get to bed. That assures your bed by 10 o'clock. And the studies show, and things like Ayurveda have shown for a good 5,000 years, that if any sleep that you get from 10 to 12, or any sleep that you get before 12, is so much more valuable than any sleep that you get after 12. So getting to bed by 10 is huge. Start in tiny little baby chunks, 15 minutes earlier, every 2 to 3 days, so that you don't jet lag yourself. And then you can get up on the other side in the morning, 15 minutes earlier, every 2 to 3 days as well. Next question.
Next question is from Diana, who writes, the past year, I've been very interested in the topic of intuition and psychic ability and mediumship. Could it be that I'm meant to do that work? What does this mean?
Hi, Diana. Let me put it this way. Yes, 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 yes. and I hope that was a yes coming from the computer there. When we are pulled and tugged in a direction, that is the direction we get to explore. Particularly when I work with people with mediumship, with intuition, with any of these skills that are not that acclaimed in the West. I believe that there's a repressed or latent skill in there that has been squashed since our early childhood. I see invisible friends, I see spirits, I know this, I have an experience that this is going to come, and our parents or loved ones who mean well tell us, no, you can't be seeing that, you can't be experiencing that, you couldn't know that, and that skill gets a bit squashed. And then at some point in our middle years, I'll put middle in quotes too, it starts to come back, this feeling, this yearning, this desire, this knowing that I get to explore this. Whenever I work with a coaching client, I have a coaching client right now. She's on fire. She's starting her own mediumship and tarot business. And she is just so incredibly on fire right now because she is starting to own this and to step forward into this. And so you don't have to have all of these steps. All you need to know is this feels right. Why don't I explore it? So we read a bit on it. We maybe take a course on it. We maybe start with working with others and saying, I'm not going to charge you anything. I don't know if I know anything. Although you don't actually have to. You're being a channel. But you do get to open your heart. But let's just play and see what's there. But I want to give you permission to explore and to step forward and see what opens up before you. But I am convinced when someone like yourself, when someone comes to me with this question, I have not once seen it where there hasn't been an amazing talent hidden just a few layers under the surface. It's just squashed down by our childhood. So a last thought on this is highly recommend you do some emotion code work, some EFT tapping, or get with yourself with some sort of a healing practitioner that can help you peel away some of the layers of heaviness that have kept this squashed down. Do you need to do it? No. Can you do it all on your own? Absolutely. But though that may help clear some of the energetic blocks that are having you say, well, I don't know if I do have, which is not a head thing. It's a getting to remember, and getting to remember means getting to be lighter again. But I so want to encourage you on this path, and please let us know how it goes. Jessica, next question.
Okay. Next question is from Ryan, who writes, I've been listening to Solfeggio.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on
Solfeggio?
Yes. Thank you.
Not an expert, have dove in and dove out a few times in the past. Hi, Ryan. So great to hear from you. I would say that it feels good, and I believe it has a very positive resonant frequency. So I'm going to say I can't give you the best energy, the best answer, but based on my intuition and how it feels, I think there's something to it. And I say, wash yourself, bathe yourself in that music, imbibe, enjoy all of it that you can. And this is certainly a time period, Ryan, where you get to make your home, your life, as best you can in the chaos, a living shrine. So make it like a Zen-like monastery. Play the most beautiful, uplifting music you can. Now, you can go from that music, you could go to Queen and back again if that suits you. I don't want to say just play this music, but if it feels right, I would latch onto it with everything you've got. Right now, I've been driving down the road in Tessie playing all this beautiful Native American flute music, and I've gone back, I'm kicking it old school with Enya, and I'm just wanting music that really soothes the soul and connects me to the earth right now. So if you're called to it, I would dive into that music with everything you've got. And we love you, we love you, we love you, Ryan.
Okay, last question.
Yes.
From Jean. I'm 69 and exhausted and don't sleep well, toxins and mold. Feel older than everyone else on your show. Hard to know what to do with life as I'm older. And hard to do things because she's exhausted.
So, Jean, we've got two issues here. First off, you came to the wrong person when it comes to age. Because I just don't see age the way that most people do. In fact, the best man at our wedding was 89 years young, and he retired from driving the nursing home bus at 93 years of age. So I believe age, and this is such an ageism, a rampant ageism in this country, and it's crazy. And I would get the book Late Bloomers by Rich Karlgaard. It will be tremendously inspiring. And then I would check out anything by Dr. Michael Merzenich, the father of brain plasticity, who talks about how our brains can come alive in our later years. In fact, he has some amazing brain games. I can't remember the URL for it at the moment. If I do, we'll punch it in here. But you can look up positscience.com, I believe it's called, his brain games. And then there are people like Dr. Goodenough, I love his name, Dr. Goodenough, who came up with the lithium-ion battery, I believe it in his late 60s or early 70s. The battery that's in every cell phone was developed and designed by somebody in his later 60s, early 70s, and has just come up with a battery that he believes is going to revolutionize vehicle transportation, because it actually goes from a solid state to a gas and back to a solid. And he discovered that, or invented that, at the ripe young age at 94. The bigger question we get to address is mold. That's a butt kicker. Mold is, I don't have any kind words to say for what mold can do to you. We have experienced it all too much. There's a reason we're living at high altitude in Colorado, because we've experienced this. You want to do everything you can. A, change your environment. If you're in a place where there's mold exposure, get the heck out. Get out yesterday. B, I would look at your diet. Look at Jessica, I cannot put you on the spot. I'm not allowed to. But if I want to run through, and I'm not a doctor, I don't play one on TV. We've got magnesium. We've got like an Anthony William protocol. You might check out Medical Medium. His basic cleanse that he has in there is phenomenal as a starting point. There are probiotics, histamine, like Hista-X. What do we call that one? The probiotic?
Histamine X.
Histamine X. You can look that up online, which is a great place to start as well.
That's by Dr. Ben Lynch.
Thank you. By Dr. Ben Lynch.
Who wrote the book Dirty Genes. And is the founder of seekinghealth.com.
Beautiful. That is your whole job right now, is to extricate from the mold situation. And then I would guess the number one thing that we did for Jessica's health once we got her out of being molded, because when you're in the mold place, you're just being sucked down into the earth. You just got to get out. Cannot repeat that enough. You just got to get out. No matter what, you just got to get out. But once you're out, I don't care if you're 69, I don't care if you're 89. Let's get you to a gym and get you doing resistance training, because resistance training means that you're building muscle. And when you are building muscle, and as Dr. Michael Merzenich said, I said, can you build brain at any age? Can you build, or you can't build brain when you get brain cells when you get older, can you? You can't build muscle when you get older, can you? He said, Michael, nothing could be further from the truth. You can build muscle, you can build brain cells at any age. That's why it's called brain plasticity. That's why muscles grow. When you start to lift weights, not only does your brain come to life, but your youthful hormones that build muscle that you may not have flexed in since your teens or your 20s, they come back on board. Your energy levels come up. Your health improves. Your vitality improves. Your ability to do things improves. And your clarity of mind improves as well. So what's her name again? Is it Jean?
Yes.
Jean, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. But there's a time and a place for everything. And so lovingly, with all the heart, soul, and kindness you can muster, Rocky, it's your time to fight. You have to crawl, kick, drag, and pull yourself up from this one. Is it perfect just as you are? Yes. Are you having a divine experience? Yes. But why don't we challenge you for the something more? Why don't we challenge you to get your health back? Why don't we challenge you to spend the next 20 or 30 years of your life lighting other people's lives up, making their lives on fire? Crank your light back up to help your kids, to help your grandkids, or to help anyone and everyone that you feel called to. But you're going to have to fight for this one each and every day. Make yourself get up. Make yourself start having nutritional goodness. And I would definitely read Anthony Williams' protocol. Make yourself, I would call it overdose on nutrition, and get yourself up and out. Love you so much. This is the work. This is not your prabdha karma was a harder path. Jessica got knocked on her ever-loving, and that was, as hard as it is to watch it, it's nothing compared to the person who's going through it. I can't imagine what it's like to be that exhausted for that long. But you got to crawl, kick, drag yourself up and out of it. All right, we don't really have time for much of a meditation. I could do a 30-second light and love something. What do you think, producer?
You could ask the audience.
Well, if I was the audience, yes. I think they're going to say yes. They're going to want more. All right.
We could do kitty cameos instead.
Go get a kitty. I'm going to go quiet here. What I want everybody to do is, as long as you're not driving down the road, in which case, how are you watching the YouTube anyway? But as long as you're not driving down the road, get nice and comfortable in your seat. So we are going to do, there's been a lot of news, a lot of really challenging news about climate change over the last few weeks. Actually, I'm seeing some really positive stuff going out of protests in the UK, kind of like an Occupy Wall Street movement going on. Really positive stuff around the world. But the studies are showing we may have the numbers off, and we may have crossed some sort of a tipping point. Now, I don't believe that. I am an extreme optimist, and I believe that when human beings get going, there is no end to what we can accomplish if we come together. But we need to have one focus, one aim. When we do a meditation as a group and we have one focus and one aim, strange thing happens. You feel better and things start to pop in other areas of your life. So what we're going to do is just a 1-minute meditation here where I want you to focus on us coming together as a collective to help heal this planet for our future, for our kids' future, And as the Native American expression goes, for 7 generations, and I believe even 70 generations down the line. So put into your heart, imagine an imaginary coin going down through your third eye, going all the way down into your heart, into a pocket right at your heart. And that is the intention for us to come together and help heal this planet, help heal the world. And with that in, you can drop that in and let it go. And now for the next minute, I just want you to breathe in through the nose and out. And in, I'm doing this to a 5 count. You can do that as well. 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, and in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, and in. Nothing's more powerful than bringing in light. 4, 5, and out. We did this last week as well. If you want an extended one, breathe out love. 5, and in. Bring in all the light in the world that you can. 4, 5, and out. Send out all the love to the earth that you possibly can. And in. Draw in all the most amazing healing life for you, for your life, and for everyone around you. And out. Send out all the healing love to the earth that you can. 5, and in light. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out healing earth love. 3, 4, 5, and in glowing golden light infusing every cell of your being. 5, and out. Send out all the love in the world to this world that you possibly can. 5, and in. Bring in all the light in the world. In, and all the light. And out. Send out all the love to Mother Earth, to this planet, to the environment, to all of our beingness. And in all the light in the world, you're glowing like a little mini sun. 5, and out. Send out love to the planet. Send out love to the atmosphere. Send out love to the earth. And in one more time, you're glowing brighter, 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 taking in all this incredible light. You are a sun. And out. Send out such incredible love to the earth. There's no way this planet could do anything but heal. And one more time, glow, 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 so incredibly bright. And out, whoosh, all the love that you can. 4, 5, and in. 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel free to continue doing this, breathing in light, sending out love for as long as you would like. Share this with others. Shine bright this beautiful week ahead. You are perfect just as you are. And as I let you go, remember, you really, truly are perfect just as you are. Blessings. Namaste. Send all my love. And above and beyond all else, shine bright. Woohoo! In light, out love. You are perfect. And thank you, Pookie, for doing this. Woohoo!